I, Douglas Kanja do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matter under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
You have been nominated for a position of Inspector General of Police. And you are here for vetting by both houses of parliament. And we want just to give you maybe 5 or so minutes to really tell Kenyans and this house who you are.
I'm grateful to the President for finding faith and favor in terms of nominating me as a nominee for this position. Number 2, I'm grateful to this committee headed by the 2 co-chairs that they have assembled here this morning so that the process of vetting and approval can be able to go on. Let me say that my name is Douglas Kanja Kirosho. I was born on 22nd September 1963 in a small village in central Kenya known as Jadaine village. I have risen through the ranks from the constable up to the last point where I was the acting Inspector General of Police. I've not missed even a single rank within the service. I have served this service for the last 39 years. Continuous service in the policing services. I've seen a lot. We have done a lot to ensure that our country remains safe. And I'm ready to continue doing that. Until, again, when the interviews for the DAGs were invited, like any other senior officer qualified, I applied. At the end of the day, I was found suitable and appointed the DIG in charge of the Kenya Police Service, a service that I started serving on 12th April 2023, that is last year. I served in that capacity for around 15 months. And during that period of time, I did a lot of reforms in the Kenya Police Service because there were many challenges when I joined the Kenya Police Service. Many challenges. I know majority of you honorable members, co-chairs, you understand the myriad of challenges that the Kenya Police Service has. I have worked, and I did work very closely with everybody, including this committee. I worked together closely with other commanders so that we can be able to address some of the challenges. And even when I was there, I realized that the training was a major issue. And my belief, coaches, is that training is critically important because once trained, you can now be able to render service from a point of knowledge. If not trained, then there's a problem. So I embarked on serious training of officers. And that one is still continuing to date. Co-chair, I wish to submit.
Are you married? Do you have a family?
Yes, I'm married. Co-chairs and honorable members. I am married. I have a family. I have 3 children. I have 6 grandchildren. And I'm grateful to God for that.
You're a family man?
I'm a family man. Yes.
A Christian or a Muslim?
Yes, I'm a Christian. Okay. I'm a Christian.
Now, have you ever, by any way, been charged in any court of law or convicted?
No.
No. Have you ever been adversely mentioned in any investigatory report?
Co-chairs, honorable members, I've never. So the answer is no.
Very good. Mr. Kanja, you're a Kenyan citizen, no doubt. But could you by any chance have a dual citizenship, maybe of another nationality?
Co-chairs and honorable members, I'm a Kenyan by birth. I don't have any other nationality. As I've indicated, I was born in that small village there, and I still belong to that village. So I'm a Kenyan by birth, and I'm proud to be a Kenyan.
Chapter 6 again of the Constitution, leadership and integrity. Have you ever been adversely associated with practices that depict bias, nepotism in the discharge of your duties in the 39 years? We are talking about areas where you've been able to display, and in those stations you've served, you're able to tell the committee the very many stations you've been able to serve, being promoted. Can you confirm to this committee if you have been able to depict or show any of those aspects of bias in promotion, handling people, and generally discharging your duties?
Thank you, co-chairs. Thank you, honorable members. In Chapter 10 of our Constitution, I want to confirm to this committee that in the many years that I've served in the public service as a police officer in different capacities, I have at all times held those values, the values as dictated by our Constitution, at a very, very high esteem. That is what has actually, over the years, made me find favors with my seniors on the realization that I am a Kenyan, and everybody to me is a Kenyan. That is how I have, in all my days, treated my officers. That is how I have treated our population. Every person who has at any time come to my office, because I believe in the open door policy where everybody is accepted. I have treated them as Kenyans foremost. I have held those values. I am an officer who holds gender values at very, very high levels. Along the line of my development in the service, I have ensured that I lead from the front, without fear, without favor. Even the other day when I was the Deputy Inspector General in charge of the Kenya Police Service on matters leadership and integrity, we had some promotion boards that were going on. I personally had to cancel a whole interviewing panel, which was somewhere in Eastern Region, because of practicing practicing what is not envisaged in our act, in our so I had to cancel the whole and reassemble a new one and punish the other one. That is the extent that I can be able to go. So I want to confirm to you, Honorable Chair, that I am a person who have always transacted my government business within and always guided by the Constitution, and more so by Chapter 10 of our Constitution. And if approved by this committee and appointed by the appointing authority, this is an area that I will continue in that trajectory. See everybody as a Kenyan, treat everybody as a Kenyan.
Senator Vice Chair.
Mr. Kanja, I like you. With how you handled the communication, immediately you were acting IG during the demonstration. To me, felt like a breath of fresh air. I don't want to go into how your predecessor handled it, but I just want to note that we have a lot of hope in you and faith. My question is going to be on budget. The current budget cuts, especially in the development budget, have posed a great challenge in the police force. What are you going to prioritize to ensure that the National Police Service performs efficiently and effectively in view of these austerity measures? Secondly, the President, through a directive in November 2022, made the Inspector General of Police was designated as the accounting officer of the National Police Service. What is the impact of this directive? And finally, Kenyans are wondering, because you are just at the age of retirement, Kenyans are asking, why do you want to be the IG of police and there are other qualified officers who are much younger than you and are qualified for this position? Thank you.
For a long time, our budget, the budget allocated to the National Police Service actually, is in most cases a third of our request. That actually puts us in a very, very awkward situation. Personally, if approved and appointed IG, I will still be coming back to this honorable committee for assistance, so that we can be able to get additional funding in order now to ensure that our officers are well trained to handle issues that are specific to specified areas. On matters recruitment, yes, recruitment is an area. The last time we did the recruitment, I think the last pass out parade was done last year. So we are going to do another one very, very soon once all the processes are okay. So that is an area that we are also interested in.
Do you think the police service has complied or has been complying to the provisions, especially when managing protests? Number two, in your opinion, were there any security gaps in the management of such protests? And if in your consideration there was, what interventions would you consider in future if you do get confirmed to this position? Mr. Kanja, still on those demonstrations, on the 25th of June 2024, the parliamentary premise was invaded by protesters. Why was the police service not able to prevent the invasion, as Parliament is one of the strategic national state installations? And two, and the last one, what is the assurance and the confidence of the police service to ensure security and safety of Parliament in case of any other security threat or emergency?
There is no country that can never allow extrajudicial killing. Extrajudicial killing is illegal if it ever happens. And let me also say this, that the police officers, in the training of the police officers, a training that I have personally attended to in various capacities, the training is to ensure that a police officer is always in the forefront in the defense of the rights and freedoms of the people through the functions provided by the Police Act. They are well trained on what to do in terms of the management of demonstrations. Public Order Act guides on matters demonstration. If there is excessive use of force by an officer, we have the oversight bodies. We have IPOA. We have the ODPP. And even now, as you speak, I know there are several investigations that are ongoing in relation to what happened during the demonstrations. The security of Parliament. Parliament is one of the key bodies established by our Constitution. And if approved and appointed IG, this is an area that we cannot allow anyone to come around joking around with this Parliament. So for me, I will do whatever it takes to ensure that this Parliament is safe and secure as the IG.
When the demonstrations took place, you were the Deputy IG, correct? Do you think you handled the demonstrations well?
Yes, I believe we handled the demonstrations well. And that's the reason why, even today, we are seated here doing the kind of business that we are doing. Otherwise, it could have been very, very difficult because, as a country, the security of the state was actually in trouble. But now, we are here. Here we are very safe and continuing. Thank you.
Were you pleased, IG nominee, with the invasion of Parliament?
No, that was one of the lowest moments in my life. Thank you.
So would you do it differently if you are IG?
True. My approach would be different.
What would you do? What would you do differently if you were faced with a new set of Gen Zs coming into town? You have said yourself that roads were blocked and you could not access certain roads. What would you do to map out Nairobi well so that you do not have demonstrators come to the center of the city and cause the kind of mayhem that they did? But on that, I just wanted to answer this. Were all those who came into the city genuine demonstrators? Is there a way you say these are genuine, these are not genuine?
You just know that. You will respond together with the rest.
And then I just put the last question, IG. Very, very last question, because you are coming into a serious office. We have talked about 600 officers deployed to Haiti. When was the last recruitment of the police, the last recruitment? And how many policemen have we lost through death, retirement, resignations, and dismissals from then to now? And then just tell us, as you take over office, when are you going to announce the hiring of new officers?